Recorded Books presents an unabridged recording of two short novels by D.H. Lawrence, The Ladybird, narrated by Margaret Hilton, and Love Among the Haystacks, narrated by Victoria Morgan. These works are copyrighted 1923 by Frida Lawrence, copyright renewed 1951. This recording is copyrighted 1987 by Recorded Books Incorporated. And now, The Ladybird, narrated by Margaret Hilton.
How many swords had Lady Beveridge in her pierced heart? Yet there always seemed room for another, since she had determined that her heart of pity and kindness should never die. If it had not been for this determination, she herself might have died of sheer agony in the years 1916 and 1917, when her boys were killed, and her brother, and death seemed to be mowing with wide swathes through her family. But let us forget. Lady Beveridge loved humanity, and come what might, she would continue to love it. Nay, in the human sense she would love her enemies. Not the criminals among the enemy, the men who committed atrocities, but the men who were enemies through no choice of their own. She would be swept into no general hate. Somebody had called her the soul of England. It was not ill said, though she was half Irish, but of an old, aristocratic, loyal family, famous for its brilliant men. And she, Lady Beveridge, had for years as much influence on the tone of English politics as any individual alive. The close friend of the real leaders in the House of Lords and in the Cabinet, she was content that the men should act, so long as they breathed from her, as from the rose of life, the pure fragrance of truth and genuine love. She had no misgiving regarding her own spirit. She would never lower her delicate silken flag. For instance, throughout all the agony of the war, she never forgot the enemy prisoners. She was determined to do her best for them. During the first years she still had influence, but during the last years of the war, power slipped out of the hands of her and her sort, and she found she could do nothing any more, almost nothing. Then it seemed as if the many swords had gone home into the heart of this little, unyielding Marta Dolorosa. The new generation jeered at her. She was a shabby, old-fashioned little aristocrat, and her drawing-room was out of date. But we anticipate. The years 1916 and 1917 were the years when the old spirit died forever in England. But Lady Beveridge struggled on. She was being beaten. It was in the winter of 1917, or in the late autumn. She had been for a fortnight sick, stricken, paralyzed by the fearful death of her youngest boy.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?